But if you can scale up and run your operation where you can operate in multiple markets like that, 20 grand won't be nothing. Power of the internet, man. Use it.
Text me and I'll text you back. Text me and I'll text you back. Text me then I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. You text me then I'll text you back. TikTok, you don't stop. I will help you make your paper stack. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at now? 205-964-5243. Yep. 205-964-5243. You know.
Wholesaling houses. Which is better, locally or virtually? All right, so let's define both first. I'm assuming you know what wholesaling houses is. Being able to find great real estate deals, placing them under contract, flipping that contract to a cash buyer. That's why your money won't matter. You got contract at A at one price, contract B at a higher price with your cash buyer, and you get the difference. Okay, so now for most people starting out, especially if you're in a decent sized city, being familiar with something goes a long way. Knowing the perception of one part of town versus another goes a long way, and not even knowing anything about real estate. That will help you tremendously. All right, so locally, that's obvious. You're trying to wholesale houses where you live. Virtual wholesaling means that you're wholesaling houses, or you're attempting to wholesale houses in a city or a market where you don't live. You may live in Atlanta, but you're wholesaling properties in Memphis. That's what it is, probably 6 hours from Atlanta. That's really not driving distance. So how would you accomplish that? Wholesaling, this is the normal process. Find great deals, whether through market, advertise that you buy houses, having sellers to call you, or a combination of you reaching out to them, being proactive and you reaching out to them by phone, text, door knocking, direct mail, you're reaching out to them. Then you have the other side of it where you just put a message out there and have them call you, whether it's through Facebook ads, through bandit signs, and then Google AdWords is somewhat in the middle of all of that, but it's probably one of the more effective ways, but one of the more expensive ways at the same time. The other one we were sort of going through was co-wholesaling, and that's wholesaling with other wholesalers. Either you're finding a deal and another wholesaler is bringing the buyer to the table, or well, a lot of people do it. They have the buyers ready and they just target other wholesalers' properties. Virtual wholesaling, you're going to have to do the exact same things that you do if you were in the city where you were trying to wholesale. The only major difference is you need someone to represent you in some situations. Say you found a house and the seller still lived there, but your cash buyers, whenever they get interested in a property, even if you have video or photos, they still normally going to want to send someone out there to look at the property normally themselves. So if you're not there and they're going to view the house, so it's just them and the seller, that could mean trouble. In the famous words of Bernie Mac, trouble. All right. So you would possibly need someone there to represent you unless you just have a strong relationship with that cash buyer. You know they're not going to try to go behind your back or whatever, but you're new to a market, you're not going to have those relationships in a lot of cases. So you can have another wholesaler to represent you that you've maybe networked and partnered with, real estate agent, maybe a family or friend. You may target markets where family and friend live that you can trust. Now you don't even have to worry about really having someone in place because the other wholesaler will be that person in place to help you with those virtual wholesale deals. Okay, so obviously, just from me just explaining that, you're not limited to just where you live. You're not limited just to from Atlanta to Memphis. You could be in Atlanta doing Memphis, Birmingham, LA, Chicago, Nashville, Detroit. I can name just whatever, Green Bay, wherever you want it to be. You can be running your entire operation that way because you're building buyers list in each one of those markets first, and then you're targeting other wholesalers' properties. But in most wholesalers, they're advertising their properties on Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups, and you would get in there and network and let them know, hey, I'm not in this market or however you want to present yourself, but I do have buyers available if you're having trouble moving a property. So now that opens up. So quite naturally, the quicker way you could get to $20,000 is through virtual wholesaling. There's no question about it. Now, some people, no interest in that. You could be in the market of Birmingham, just have no interest in doing any virtual wholesaling. Or you could be in a market the size of basically the DMV, in that DC, Baltimore, Northern Virginia area, you're talking 6, 7, 8 million people. You don't ever have to leave a market of that size. Atlanta, 6, 7 million people. You still always, if you're not leaving that market, you could easily do $20,000 in that market. I know if I can do it here in Birmingham, you're definitely doing it in those markets. You don't ever have to do that. But it's all about scaling. But if you can scale up and run your operation where you can operate in multiple markets like that, 20 grand won't be nothing, because you got the entire country that you can literally target. And at that point, it's all about organization. And you're going to have the war chest, put the people, the team in place to do just that. But because you could be in different cities, it's going to be easier to get to that 20K versus right there locally to you. And especially the people that live in small towns, you really have to do what I just explained, right? If you live in cities, definitely less than 100,000, ideally, I say you need to be in 250 to eat, 250,000 in population to eat consistently. 150,000 will be okay. But once you start getting less than that, it makes it a little bit more difficult for most people. But again, that's where virtual wholesaling, the power of the internet, comes into play, and networking your butt off to first, as I said, build that buyer's list if you're going to go about it that way, and then you're reaching out to other wholesalers. Now, if you want to you may start out in your market, in your local market, make some money, have some saved, and then you're just going to repeat your process as far as the way you market. You may be very strong at doing direct mail in your market, and so instead of you dealing with other wholesalers in other markets, you're dealing directly with homeowners directly. You prefer to do it that way. But again, as I said, you're going to have some boots on the ground to assist you with some of the grunt work that you just can't do because you're not there. So the sky's the limit. That's what's so great about it. And we're just talking about houses. As I mentioned earlier, we're not even talking about, like, if you want to partner with me on units, on mini storage or self-storage, hit me up. So that's one of the main reasons I ever started doing this, is so I could have like-minded people pretty much in any city in this country that we could possibly do deals together. That's one or two reasons why I started doing this and putting all the free content out there. It turned into something else that I didn't think it was, that just generates money also. Ideally, it creates just an unbelievable ability to network with people just all over this country, really all over the world. I've talked to people in different countries wanting to do business. I've never been able to pull anything off in that way, but I've had people to reach out to me from different countries asking, how can they get in? So the power of the internet, man, use it. Boom, you made it. Hopefully that video helped. If you need to find cash buyers anywhere, tap this video here. Make sure you follow me, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the flip side.